solving mysteries in the night. Chasing shadows, finding answers, shining bright light. No one's left behind in the darkness all alone. With a heart like a siren, she brings the lost ones home. Silent cries in the dark no longer have to be. For justice wheels keep turning, granny on the beat. Broken voices find their power, call out hope again. When Granny's crime busters run, no victims left in pain. Bravery in her veins, truth she won't disguise. With a fire in her eyes, she's got nothing to deny. Granny fights for justice, never backs down from the call. For the voiceless and the missing, she'll stand tall.
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing this fine night? Hope everyone's doing great. Hello, Katie. Good to see you. Welcome in. And the rest that are in the bushes, hello. Tonight we are talking strictly about the Sullivan case. The two little precious children that are still missing almost a month later. It's been almost a month, guys. Can you believe that? But we did get news. The search for Jack and Lilly is to continue tomorrow, May 31st, 2025. SAR teams for going out again. We appreciate you and ask commenters to do the same. From Royal Canadian Mounted Police in Nova Scotia, Pictou County Missing Persons Investigations continues with ground search this weekend, May 30th, 2025. Ground search efforts are planned for tomorrow, May 31st, as the missing persons investigation into the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan continues. In an effort to advance the ongoing investigation and locate Lilly and Jack, searchers from ground search and rescue teams in the RCMP will focus on specific areas around Gerlach Road and the nearby pipeline trail where boot print was previously located. We continue to ask that the public avoid the search area to allow trained searchers to do their work. Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. So, they're doing something specific tomorrow for sure. Hello, K9. Good to see you. Ginger Girl. Hello. I forgot to do our missing person. Charlotte Menjivar, missing since May 28th, just 2 days, guys. Last seen in Huntington Station, New York, 14 years old. She's a missing child who is Hispanic and was last seen wearing a gray sweater and jean shorts. She is believed to be in the local area of Huntington Station, New York. If anybody knows where she might be, call 911 or the Huntington Station Police Department. I've been trying to go with children that are more recently missing to hopefully find them, right? Get the news out there right away for them. So they're going to be searching. I find it kind of funny. I don't know, maybe they've already gone through the area that they're going to go over tomorrow. But I do kind of find it funny that they're going over an area where a boot print was found before. And the pipeline, which I think Kent brought up, a while back. So very interesting. I hope that they do find them. Something, anything at this point, right? Wanted to see. I guess that one was already okay. There was also, I was watching another show where the bio grandma was texting in, and she had actually stated that I want to read it, but I don't want to put it up there, so so she said that Daniel told me Malaya changed a lot after Meta was born and really didn't pay attention to Lily and Jack anymore. I said about postpartum depression, and he said it was way worse, that he was the only one looking out for them. Guys, I know a lot more was said by her, but we need to remember, why isn't she talking to Malaya? Is Malaya not talking to her? I don't know. And this is actually hearsay. So I don't know if you guys have heard that, but I would be really careful about taking. Now, please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she's lying, anything like that, but she doesn't know if Daniel is telling her the truth, right? So we just need to be really careful about what is being said, and we're going to go into that tonight as to why we need to be careful. So they usually have trails along the pipelines and hydro lines here in Ontario. Gotcha. Someone had some audio of the searches one time, supposedly, and they said on the radio that there were heat signatures there also, but nothing was located at the time if that audio was real. Yeah. I did hear that. If it was me, I would be ticked off if my ex-boyfriend was discussing my medical condition with other people. Pow right and kiss her. Yeah, he shouldn't be. Well, he didn't bring up a medical condition though, right? It was her that brought it up. He was just saying how he's the only one taking care of Jack and Lily. Here's my question. He's been pretty careful about not saying anything bad about her. Why did he do that with Biodad's mom now? Was he upset about having to take care of Jack and Lily? I'm just saying, was he upset about that? Could he have held a grudge about that? So where was he the morning they went missing? It's a good question. They both said that they were in bed together. But their stories kind of changed. He stated that she was feeding the baby. I don't know if she was breastfeeding or what. And then in another statement, he was saying that he didn't want Lily and Jack to wake her up. I don't know. Right. But what I wanted to do was to talk about play a video, let's see, about his statements. So here's one. It's about 11 minutes long. But I thought we would, because we here at Granny's Crime Busters, we have looked at statement analysis quite a bit, right? Between Deception Detective, Mike DeMann, Practical Linguistics. I think we've, listened to them a couple of times as well, or at least I have. I don't know if I've played it, but I thought we would listen to what they have to say about him saying that he passed that polygraph, right? Because he said, well, he didn't say he passed, but that they were good in his favor. Okay. So let's listen.
Hello and welcome to the video. It's just a short one today. I wasn't even going to do one actually, but I happened to see Michelle After Dark. I've just got a little picture there, if you see at the bottom there, of her latest video. I don't know if you watch her channel. I have found myself watching it every day now. I've become a bit of a fan. I love watching the dogs going for a walk, and I love Michelle's accent. So I watched this video, and the title obviously is He Passed. So she takes Daniel's response to this question as a positive, that he is saying that he passed. But when I looked at Daniel's answer this morning, I couldn't see him saying that he passed anywhere. I mean, he wants to make it sound like he's passed, but he doesn't say it. So I thought it was worth analysing in a little bit of detail and pointing out that he never says that he passed the test. If you remember, if we go back, rewind a week or two, when he said that he really wanted to do a polygraph test and that there wasn't a good place in Canada where he could do it, or there weren't many places. So they're flying in an examiner, and the reason why he wants to do the test, because the interviewer asked him, well, why are you doing that? Do you think people don't believe you? And he said, yeah, my wife's family don't believe me. What did he call them? Her side of the family, their side of the family, he called it. I don't think they believe me, and the internet people are making wild accusations. So he said, all I want to do is clear it up for everybody. That was his word, everybody. I want to clear it up for everybody.
Okay. So he wants to clear it up for everybody. But before we really get into his analysis of what Daniel said in regards to the polygraph, I do want to just put this out there and say to everybody that I'm not trying to say that Daniel is guilty here. I'm not trying to say Malaya is guilty. I don't know, right? We don't know. What I am going to say is that what they say is important. We know that RCMP is looking and listening to everything that they say, right? That's part of it, because the children were last seen with them, right? So, we are taking a look at what he said. They're doing a statement analysis on what he said to try to determine, was he telling the truth, right? Because they are just a tool, and they don't use those in a court of law, either in Canada or in America. Yep. Ginger said, I did look up a polygraph test and the RCMP. They are a tool. They use them for hiring, and sometimes they use them in investigations. Yeah. And we're going to hear another profiler today that actually tells you that, and we've heard it before, that polygraphs, it's not about the actual polygraph test. It's what goes on during the whole process, before, during, and after. It's an interview. and they're watching that person very closely and listening very closely. So the whole thing is what's important. So in all actuality, a person can walk out of there, because I have heard before, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I have heard before that they don't really tell you if you pass or fail. I don't know if that's right or not, but so a person, in my opinion, could walk out of there feeling pretty good about themselves. Huh? Yeah, you know, I told the truth. Or hey, they didn't catch on, or or whatever, right? They could actually walk out feeling like they did a good job, when in all actuality, maybe they didn't. Okay, let's continue on.
And I thought, kudos to him. If you remember, I actually changed my thinking about him at the time, and I thought, well, I've got to give him credit for that. But let's see if he tries to wriggle out of it. And today, unfortunately, I'm seeing a bit of wriggle. I actually want to see Daniel cleared. I like him as a person, and I feel so sorry for him when I see him standing there on his own. Every time he gives an interview, he's on his own, standing there outside. No support from his.
I agree with this. He is always standing alone. He has no support. Mom left. No support from his mom, his family, nothing. Right? He doesn't have any support. He's standing there all alone. It is kind of a sad thing. Is there a reason for it? I don't know.
Mum, his wife has moved out. His brother's never in the picture. Nobody is supporting him. And I want to believe him. I don't want to think that he's harmed those children. I look at him and I think he looks like a trustworthy sort of person, and I can't imagine him doing something horrible. So I want to support him. But when he comes up with answers like this, I have to wonder what's really going on. So let's have a look. The reporter says, you mentioned the last time we chatted that you offered to do a polygraph test. Has that happened? So she brings it up. He was not even going to mention it. And he says, that has happened. There's no YES words in this at all. That has happened. He parrots what she said. And did you get results from that yet? She says results. She doesn't say the results. So I can't blame him for being non-specific here. He's just using her words. I do have results. I'd like to hear the results, but he just says results. Can't blame him because, as I say, he's parroting her. And I don't know if I can share those results. This is a concern, isn't it? I don't know. Mental process in the negative polarity, projected phenomenon. Got to take his word for it. Can't check it. If I can share those results, can being permission. Well, or is it ability? I don't know. I tend to think he might be meaning permission here, or that's the implication for me. I don't know if I can share those results. Those results, demonstrative, far, not near, those results. This time he is being specific. Okay, notice before he wasn't being specific, but I couldn't blame him for it. Now he is being specific, but he's putting those results at a distance. I don't know. Now, why does he not know? This was such a big deal, wasn't it? Flying somebody in to do the test. He wanted to clear his name. He wanted to tell everybody online that they were wrong. Surely he would have checked with whoever did the test. I don't know. Maybe they were the police themselves. I don't know who did the test. Do the police even know the results? Who knows? It's such a mystery. But he would have checked with them. Look, I can go to the public with this, can't I? He wouldn't have just left it as a don't know, because his whole point was to prove himself innocent. So now he said, well, I'm not sure about that. I didn't find out. I don't know if I can tell you or I can't tell you. I can't believe that. I don't know if I can share. Who's giving the permission here? Are the police really saying, we don't want you going out there clearing your name, Daniel. We'd rather have this cloud of suspicion over you. This was a private polygraph test that he ordered to clear his name. He has every right to stand up and say to people that are accusing him, you're wrong, I'm innocent. So now let's all get together and find these kids. I can't think of...
He's not saying that though, is he? He wasn't even going to say anything about the test results. Okay. And so she asked him, and then he said that has happened, and he stopped. And did you get results? I do have results. And he stops. Well, wait a minute. You wanted this test, right? You wanted it. You wanted it to clear your name, to show people, to shout from the rooftops that you were not guilty of anything. Why aren't you shouting from the rooftop? If you pass this result, why aren't you shouting it? Right? Ooh, barbecued ribs, scalloped. Oh gosh. Yum, yum, yum. That sounds so good, K9. So, but seriously, I question as well. I don't know who this man is that I'm listening to, that we're listening to. I don't know. But I'm questioning as well. And we have a right to ask that, right? Daniel said in an interview on national TV that he asked for the polygraph because he wanted to prove to everyone that he's telling the truth. He wanted to prove to Malaya's family, and he wanted to prove to all the crazy people online that were accusing and saying crazy things about him that he was innocent. Why wasn't he shouting it from the rooftops? Yeah, he wants people to stop pointing the finger, so why isn't he shouting it from the rooftops? Is it because the results weren't what he thought they were? Remember, RCMP is not going to tell us those results, guys. They are not going to come out and say that he passed or failed, right? Just like in Sebastian Rogers' case, law enforcement never came out and said that anybody passed or failed. We only heard from the parents about the polygraph. Okay, so that's except for Sus, the one that he took with Nancy, he passed it. That came from Nancy, right? So, but law enforcement's not going to give those results. Yeah, polygraph tests are not used to prove innocence. That's true. But they can say whether they passed or failed. Hello, Brenda Jo. Good to see you. And in my opinion, if Daniel passed, then he would have been shouting it from the rooftops. He would have brought it up before the reporter did. Don't you think? Because he was the one that wanted it. So I really have a question about why he didn't. So let's continue on.
Of any reason, maybe you can tell me a reason. Maybe you know the tactics that police employ, but I can't think of any reason why the police would not allow him to clear his name in public. Now he's saying, I don't know if I can share those results. He's very specific, those ones. Maybe some other ones I might be able to share, but not those ones. Why not those ones? Is it the case that this test was inconclusive? which means that some of the answers were answered truthfully and perhaps some of them not so truthfully. And is it the case that if I were to share those results, you lot out there are all going to light on the stuff that I answered dishonestly? Is that the case? If they were different results, I'd share them, but not those ones.
What do you think, guys? To me, that makes a lot of sense. If it was inconclusive, right? But here's the thing. Does Dan realize we don't see the questions? We don't even get to hear the results, except what he's saying. So remember, it's hard to lie. That word, those, specific, inconclusive, so is he telling us without really telling us that things were just inconclusive? He told the truth on some things and others just no, right? And that's the thing. I don't think I would either, Katie. And the reason for that is I think I'd be so doggone nervous that I'd fail up for sure. Right? I mean, not because I have anything to hide, but because you know how much is riding on it, right? If it means somebody thinks you're, guilty of something, I mean, yeah, I don't think I would ever take one too. If it was 100% not involved, he would have been screaming it to the first ear to listen. I agree. I think that if he had, that if everything came out great, then he would have been screaming it from the rooftops. So the next part, but they were good in my favor. Which ones were good in his favor? See, again, it can still be inconclusive because you can have some that were answered truthfully and some that were not. Right? Maybe there were more that were answered truthfully in his favor than those that were not. But those that were not were the big ones. I'm just saying, we can look at this all different ways, right? But I really feel like overall, he would have been screaming it, in my opinion. He would have been screaming it from the rooftops had it been an excellent 100% polygraph, because that's what he wanted in the first place.
They are too incriminating. Is that what he's thinking? And he goes on to say, now the reason why I'm thinking that it might be an inconclusive test is because he says they were good in my favor. Now that's not a phrase that anybody knows, is it? Either they were good or they went in my favor, but not they were good in my favor. There's something screwy about that. Did you pass your driving test? I can't tell you, but it was good in my favor. What?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Is that ever true, right? Did you pass your driver's test? I don't know. I don't know if I can tell you, but it was good in my favor. Something screwy about that, he said. Yeah, you think? I mean, really, think about it. So, what was good in his favor? Either you passed or you didn't pass, right? Either you passed your polygraph or you failed it. Either or it was inconclusive. Or I think actually, I don't even think they say failed, do they? I think they just say it's inconclusive. But yeah, you know, did you pass your test? Well, I don't know if I can tell you that. But it was good in my favor. No, it doesn't work like that, right? That doesn't even make sense when you hear it. It just goes beyond our comprehension of what we're thinking. Let's continue on.
Did you pass or didn't you pass? Somebody is avoiding telling you yes, aren't they? If they say something like that. And I'm wondering, this thing about in my favor, it makes me think of two competing parties, like, I don't know, a football match or something. The decision went in Liverpool's favor. It seems to me as if there is some sort of competition going on here. And I can't quite put my finger on what it is, but is it the case that he answered, let's say, 80% of it honestly and 20% of it dishonestly? If we are saying that the majority is the decider here, then yes, the decision goes in my favor rather than the naysayer's favor. Is it that? But yeah, they were good in my favor. That is very, very far from saying, yes, I passed. And this last bit, we will say that. Who's we? Is that him and his lawyer? Are the police completely out of the loop? That's what I want to know. Do they know the results? Is this result privy only to Daniel and his lawyer? And has his lawyer saying, not sure that you can really go public with this, Daniel. Look, what we'll do is we'll say this and we'll say that. Is that where the we is coming from? This is a bit dodgy as well. We will say that. When we use will like that way, or the contracted form with just the double L, he could be offering something to us here rather than nothing at all. That might be why he's using the finite operator will. Or it could be a spontaneous decision. And if it's a spontaneous decision, I'll say that, or we'll say that. Why hasn't he thought about it before? This was a big deal just a week or two ago. He was going to clear his name. Now he seems to have forgotten all about the significance of this test, and he hasn't even decided what he's going to say about it. It's almost as if he'd rather sweep it under the carpet. But now that you ask, oh, here's my spontaneous answer, I'll just say that. Bizarre. So, yeah, Michelle, I love your channel. If you're listening to me, I don't think you watch me. I do sometimes write comments on your videos, but you never answer me. So I doubt you're watching my video. But I just want to say, if you are out there and you're listening, I love your channel. I don't mean to knock you. But when you say he passed, I'm afraid that is not the case for me. He is not saying that, not in any of these words here. Is he saying that he passed? Okay, thanks for listening. Please do hit the like, subscribe, comment, and share and all that business. Please do comment. I read them all, and I do respond to a large number of them. And some of you do even send me emails, so I appreciate that as well. Thanks so much to Yvette. You wrote me a very nice long email about why you think I was wrong about the Sebastian Rogers case. So yeah, I really enjoyed reading that and responding to you. So please do get in touch if you want to. That's what it's all about for me. And I'll speak to you again soon.
You mentioned last time we chatted that you'd offered to do a polygraph test.
That is correct.
Has that already happened?
That has happened.
Right. And did you get results from that yet?
I do have results, and I don't know if I can share those results, but they were good in my favor. We'll say that.
See, so that's why I let it play till the end, because I knew that that piece was on there. I don't remember if I've ever seen that before, that piece, but so let's see. Depends if you fail all the questions, then it's a fail, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know enough about polys to know. Other than, they don't use them in a court of law because they're not 100% accurate. There are ways to beat them. Ginger reminded me yesterday or this morning, I believe, I don't know, my days are running together, but Ted Bundy passed his polygraph, guys. Ted Bundy, of all people. Serial killer. So, I'm just telling you that passing a polygraph does not mean that somebody is innocent. But their statements about whether they passed, I think, does tell us something. And those two say the strangest things, him and mom. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about Dan and his mother? Just curious. So I also wanted to play just an excerpt of Pat Brown. She talked about the case. I can't take a whole lot of Pat Brown. She drives me crazy. But I liked what she said here, and I wanted to talk about it with you. Oh, Daniel and Malaya, gotcha. Yeah, I agree. Right. Yeah, and that sticks in the back of my head as well. She ended their relationship, right? If you actually go to her Facebook page, it says single on there. And she has removed any and all pictures of Daniel on her pictures. So I mean, that's an extreme. Typically I don't get rid of pictures of, I mean, I don't get rid of pictures of exes. I mean, it's just something I don't do. It's a part of your life. I don't know. Part of your children's lives, right? I don't know. But and the fact that CPS has denied him access to all of his children, even his previous two by his prior wife. Why? They don't do that on a whim, guys. There's a reason for that. We all know that CPS, because if CPS did things on a whim, they would have had Sebastian taken away from Chris and Katie long before he was. Right? So they don't do things on a whim. So that's my question. Why have they denied him access to all of his kids? You have to look there, you know, you have to ask these difficult questions. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying that at all. But we do have questions. Yeah, the only pictures I have deleted were from an abusive person. Yeah. I mean, but typically you don't go through and do that, right? Why was it important for her to feel like she needed to do that? In the middle, I mean, this was early on, guys. She did that almost immediately. I never had ex's pictures on my phone. Problem solved. That's funny. Oh, goodness. All right, let's listen to Pat for just a little bit here because I really liked what she had to say. I tried to get it as close as possible to what I wanted to hear.
What the RCMP is saying, they're confirming the siblings were seen in public with family members a day before being reported missing, which when a police agency makes a confirmation, you would think they mean it. Okay. Lilly and Jack Sullivan, age 6 and 4, were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, on May 2nd. Now keep the May 2nd in mind. In a Wednesday update, RCMP said they confirmed the two were, quote, observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st, based on details they've gathered. They later clarified that confirmation was made by both video evidence and eyewitness accounts. Well, I don't know why they had to later clarify it, but they're claiming at this point, RCMP, that there is video evidence. And if that is true, then the children, just a narrow timeline or 24 hours when the children could have disappeared, as opposed to just the morning of the 2nd. All right, now, then it gets a little weird. Police also said investigators have collected hours of video from the area surrounding Lansdowne Station, which is excellent. We're now asking anyone who has dash cam footage or video along Garlick Road, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but okay, Garlick Road, between 12 p.m. on April 28th and 12 p.m. on May 2nd to contact us. Wait a minute. If they were seen, and you absolutely have confirmed they were seen the afternoon of May 1st, what do you care happened prior to May 1st, April 28th, April 29th? What the heck? Why do you even care?
I agree with her. Why do they care? Right? If there is video and eyewitness accounts that they were seen in the afternoon of May 1st with family members, why do they care what happened April 29th and 28th? '30th, right? That's a really good question. Let's continue on.
I don't even understand that, because if they were alive on the 1st, all the other stuff is meaningless. So unless they're looking, because they say they aren't looking at an abduction. If you were looking at an abduction, you'd be saying, what sketchy people might be, rolling around in the area that we don't even know who they are. They're acting weird, or they're looking for children. You could go there, but they're saying there's no abduction. The children either got lost, which would have happened exactly on May 2nd. So you don't care what happens before May 2nd, or if their parents, somebody on that property did something to them, then you would only care if you saw them on May 1st for sure. You'd only care about those next 24 hours. I don't even know why they're looking further back, unless are they telling the truth about their video evidence that the children were alive on May 1st. I find it very conflicting, and I don't quite understand that. And then they say, police said they're committed to exploring all possibilities when it comes to the case. Okay, well, you should explore all possibilities. And as a profiler, even if I have a viewpoint which I'm pushing, let's say 85%, 90% in this direction, I'm not going to let go of the other percentage, which this could be one of those freaky things where, man, everything looked like it went this way, but it actually is this. So I can't say that the children didn't wander away. I personally can't say they weren't abducted. I can't say whether the parents did something to them. What I can say is I find the abduction thing very unlikely, considering where they're located and how much time the mom and stepdad said the children went missing. And if you look back, if you go to my old video, you'll see what I say about the mother's statement, which I did an analysis on. And I said, she's deceptive. And then something is wrong with what she's saying, because she's making up a story about the children being outside playing when she didn't know the children were outside playing. I mean, it's very confusing. So go check my previous video on that so you can see what my analysis of her statement was, which is why I found her deceptive, and why I have to look at what happened to those children in that home. So where are we now? Well, we're not any place. We're hoping that the police are where they need to be. I'm not sure why they're saying what they're saying and what they're exactly looking for. But they're looking especially on that road. And what are they looking for on that road? The children weren't abducted. What are they looking for? And the only thing I can think of is one of the family members, mom, stepdad, or somebody else on that property, looking at their vehicles coming and going on that road, because the children didn't wander off. Somebody had to take them away on that road. And that may be why the police are looking on that road. Maybe most specifically from the first to the second. But it is possible, they're saying, just in case the video evidence is, and whatever witness evidence there is, isn't quite accurate, we want to move it back a few days, just in case. That would be the best I could guess. So it's been a while now since the children have gone missing. And it'll be interesting to see whether they come up with what they need to determine what exactly happened to these children. I'm sure they're still doing the interviewing of everyone who might be involved, and they're looking for those deceptive moments. Stepdad said he's taken a polygraph. He says, came back good. But, we don't have proof that he, quote, passed it. And again, polygraphs, we can't necessarily believe them. And it depends what the police were doing with the polygraph. If they're using it, which is what you use it for, is to be able to, you're not really looking for exact answers and proof that they are, either 100% passed or showed deception. It's the interview that comes before, during, and after that really is what the whole polygraph thing is about. It's an interrogation method. So I don't know what the police are looking for. I don't know what the police have, but I find the timeline thing is a little wishy-washy. But that they're looking at the road is more interesting to me, the specific road, so that they think something happened, which they're looking for evidence of the children in some way being moved from the home down that road, or if they were seen on the first, actually at somewhere, and they never actually came home, that would be a whole nother issue as well. So I think that's what they're looking for, because they're saying they're not looking at an abduction. And could the children have wandered down that road, just down the road? Well, sure. But nobody ever said they saw the children on the road. So if they're not looking at abduction, we're back to they're looking at the children not going off on their own and not being taken away by anybody outside of the family unit. That's what I think they're looking at. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this. Please add your comments below. Please, if you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe.
So what do you think? Hello, Stardust. Good to see you. Welcome in, Juicy. Maybe checking patterns of travel for some people. It could be. Maybe I liked what she said. They're looking at that specific road. That does speak a little bit better, right? The timeline that they're asking for is confusing when they have said that they have video and witnesses that saw family members with Jack and Lily on the afternoon of the 1st. That's a little bit confusing that they want to go all the way back to the 28th of April. But I mean, are they looking to see, did the kids get home on May 1st? Are they looking to see, did they get taken again? You know, not looking outside the family unit is interesting to you. Gotcha. Well, I mean, I think they're keeping their eyes open. Daniel just told the media that it was him and mom with the kids on the video. Yeah. I kind of figured. Did he say where they're going? What? I mean, weren't the kids sick? Why were they out with the kids? Here's my thought. Okay. I was a young mom with 2 kids. And a husband, that was not the father, because I had been divorced when they were young. You guys kind of know that story, some of you that I told. If my kids were sick and I needed medicine for them, I'd be asking my husband, even though he's not their father, to please go and get the medicine for them. If he could not do that for me or my kids, then he doesn't belong with me. That's all I'm saying. He said he could not tell where the video came from because it. Does that sound familiar, guys? Might impede the investigation. Oh my goodness. Hello, prayer warrior. Good to see you. Could be. But they have made it clear, just like Pat Brown said, that there's no abduction. So why would they be looking for an unknown vehicle? I think they want to know were the kids seen getting home? Were they seen leaving again? Yeah, sounds like exactly. I can't tell you because it could interfere with the investigation. Just like I can't tell you about the results of my polygraph, even though I proclaimed that I wanted it, and they had to get somebody in here because I want to shut up all the voices that are going crazy against me. And yeah, I mean, I'm like, you guys, the things that he is saying, he really should be quiet. He really should shut up because he's digging himself a deep hole. He really is. Are they searching the dirty road behind their property? Well, I think they have, because they went out 5 kilometers or whatever. Hello, Melissa. Good to see you. So, I mean, I think they have, Ginger. Now they're looking where that boot print was and along the pipeline, which I think is awesome. Right? But, you know, and I think Mike DeMann said it clearly. He said he really should stop talking because he's not doing himself any favors, right? Maybe Malaya, you know, we're told she lawyered up. I don't know if that's true or not. So quads travel along those pipeline trails as well. So could they have taken children that way? I'm just saying. Could brother have taken those children that morning? I mean, and I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying those kids didn't just go poof. Right? And there's no evidence that they walked outside the yard. There's no scent trail. So only up to the driveway. The edge of the driveway. So what happened? You know, we have to look at all angles. Okay, if brother doesn't live on the property, but he's there all the time, I mean, I don't know. There's so many questions, right? And statement analysis is one of the best ways to try to determine if someone's telling the truth or is lying. Okay. So we just heard about the polygraph, and he wasn't being entirely honest about that, right? So let's look at another one. We're probably not going to watch the whole thing. I can only take so much of Mike at a sitting, but we're going to listen to him a little bit.
Daniel Martell is not doing himself any types of favors by talking as much as he does. And I'm sure if you asked him,
he said it right off. Daniel Martell is not doing himself any type of favors by talking as much as he does. There you go. Hello, Connie. Good to see you. Brother is sketchy. I think the brother's sketchy. True. I honestly do. But yeah, so you heard it right away. Daniel Martell isn't doing himself any type of favors by talking as much as he does. We did talk about this in one of our chats, and we had some locals in here. There would have been evidence left, right? Bears typically, they won't eat you, right? So once they kill you and you're dead, that's why they tell people if they maul you, just lay still like you're dead. They walk away. So we did talk about that, and there would have been some kind of evidence left behind, clothing, their boots, something to show that they had been, in an area that they had been attacked. Yeah, huge evidence. Yep. All right. And I agree with you. Small doses, canine, small doses.
He would tell you quite the opposite. He would probably say, well, I'm proving that I'm communicating. I'm proving I'm caring about the children. I'm here fighting, and everybody can see it. So I cannot be guilty. It cannot be that me, the only one fighting for them, would have anything to do with the disappearance of the children. However, there's one huge issue with that. And the problem is that the only way you can control your language is by shutting up. And that's exactly what Malaya is doing. And Malaya, of course, raises suspicion, but not as much as Daniel is doing. And the more he speaks, the more he gives himself away. So that is why lawyers will always tell you, keep your mouth shut. Do not talk. People always think they're smarter. People think they can outsmart the system, outsmart the police, even outsmart people like me. So when you hear Daniel speak, a few things that he has just said recently really hit me. And the one.
Okay, so before he gets into the thing, did you did you hear the way that he was talking? These type of people even think that they can deceive even me, and he laughed. I think we got a little bit of ego going on here. You got it too. I think that's the first time we've heard Mike laugh, isn't it? Oh, a little bit of an ego problem we got going on here, I think. Don't get me wrong, guys. He is smart at what he does, but he's starting to let his fame get to him a little bit, I think, because that was obvious. That was very obvious. Oh my gosh. And yes, Ginger, Lily would have screamed. She would have screamed and screamed and screamed and screamed. She just a little. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's continue on. See what he thinks he said here.
Is that I've already discussed with you guys when he talked about when Lily came into the room, she poked her head through the door and so on. He said the sentence that the sun was already up. But he was referring to somewhere closer to 8 a.m. But the sun in Nova Scotia came up at 6:02 a.m. that time. And when you say the sun was already up, you're not referring to 2 hours after sunrise, right? You would refer maybe to what, 6:15, 6:20, maybe even 6:10 or 6:30, something like that. 6:30 at the latest, I would say. The sun had just gotten up. Remember when he spoke to us about he was knee-deep and waist-deep in water. He was yelling so much his voice cracked, or he lost his voice. Why did he feel the need to tell us that? And the possibility I am raising right now is that something happened the night before. And he came back to the house, to his trailer, a little after 6 a.m., when the sun was already up. Because I believe that he speaks from experiential memory right there. This comes from somewhere. So was he out and about or boot in a boot, getting rid of the bodies of the children or doing something else related to covering up what took place? That is a possibility.
Ginger, he's making fun of you Canadians. Did you hear that? His oot in a boot. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I can get through this with him. I just don't. He's, oh, I haven't listened to him for a while, and I gotta tell you, oh, this is his way to liven things up a little. I don't know. Is anybody else hearing this? Seriously. Oot in a boot. Oh my gosh. He's getting more comfy on his channel, I guess. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing that. I would, I, I mean, we can laugh, but I would think some might take offense to him saying that.
And that is exactly the track that I'm going to stay on. Because I believe it's very possible that he was out there, maybe with his car, maybe with his ATV. And this is on his mind, the sun coming up, because he wanted to make sure that he would return before the sun comes up to ensure that nobody would see him. And whatever he was doing, he may have been waist
Interesting.
deep in water. And there may have been screaming matches between him and Malaya. I mean, they're living out in the boonies. Who would have heard them? The brother? His mother? Yeah. But they ain't gonna say nothing, right? I believe that he told us immediately that he was waist deep in water and he was screaming at the top of his lungs until he had no more voice in a preemptive manner to ensure that if somebody realized his voice was cracking, that's what it must have been. He had no time to dry his clothes. Hey, that's exactly what happened. I told you guys, I was looking everywhere, right? He didn't say, I looked around a few places close by, I drove around. No, he said here, I looked everywhere. Everywhere is like case closed, as in that's it. And that's it seems to be one of his favorite endings in several sentences. That's it. I'm doing all I can. I did this, I did that. That's it. No, this is not it. You didn't look everywhere. According to you, it's everywhere. It's good enough for you because you know that whatever you have been doing, it doesn't matter how long you do it. It's not going to lead us to the children because you know exactly what happened. And the biggest one to me was when he was asked, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of your children? He said, now remember what a reliable denial is. He said, I 100% did not. And I will hold that to my last day on this planet. There is so much in this one sentence. I don't even know.
That's a weird sentence, isn't it, guys? And I will hold that to my last day on this planet. Who talks like that? Right? It's just a sense of humor. Yeah, I haven't heard that as a theory before now either. I mean, it's a possibility, right? Yes, I heard that too, Ginger, that mom was up and called into the school at 6 a.m. to let the kids were staying home. That came from the bio dad's mom. Evidently Daniel told her that. And like I said, I don't know if, because she's getting her information from Daniel, and we're already hearing that we're not sure we can really trust what Daniel's saying, right? So I don't know. Yeah, he says some weird things. He does. I 100% did not, and I will hold that. And, and Mike's going to tell us what he thinks about it in a minute here, but yes, Daniel told the bio dad's mom that information. I thought I said that. Did I not say it right? It's kind of hard to, I don't want to say her name because I don't, but yeah, I just find that very hard. I mean, I could say like, I 100% did not. I wouldn't even say 100%. I would say, no, I did nothing to harm my children. That's be the way I would say it. I would not say I 100% did not, and I will hold that to my very last day on this planet. Melissa, it kind of sounds like it, doesn't it? It's kind of weird. The sun was already up. And yeah, why is that important? Unless he was trying to make sure he got home before then. They may be doing the right thing by going down that pipeline tomorrow, guys. Just a thought, And remember, I had said, why didn't she call the school to let them know that the kids weren't going to be there? I would be doing it every day if my kids were ill. Why didn't she get up? Well, she was up. What, she went back to bed? Yeah, neither one of them ever said anything in their initial interviews about calling the school. Were they listening to my were they listening to me when I said, how many times did I say that in our chat, guys? I would be up every morning checking to see if my child was sick. How are you feeling? Do you have a temperature? Let me check. Okay, do you want some breakfast? No, you want to go back to bed? Okay. All right, let's get you back to bed. Right? Or, no, you're feeling good? Okay, let's get you some breakfast. Let me check you. I'd be checking them before I called into school. Right? And I said that several times in our chats. And I really honestly think that these parents of missing children who are trying to get away with things listen. I'm probably not the only one that's ever said that as well, right? Why didn't they call into the school every morning? And so now all of a sudden, he is saying that Malaya did call the school at 6 o'clock that morning. That's pretty early to be calling in, isn't it? I never called in for my kids until 8 o'clock. Really going to be calling in to school at 6 o'clock? That's that great minds thing, Neural. Great minds think alike. All right, let's listen to what he's saying here.
We'll start. First of all, a reliable denial is no, I didn't. No, I had nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
That's reliable. Any extra words, you can count them on your fingers. And that is about the distance away from the truth. Because a reliable denial is short and to the point and no mistake about it. So you can say, did you kill your wife?
Absolutely not,
You
right?
can ask a suspect, did you kill your wife? If he says no, or no, I didn't, or no, I didn't kill my wife, that's reliable. When he says never, I would never do that.
I'll hold that to my last day on this
Anything
planet.
other than no, and what you're denying, no, plus what you are denying, and nothing else. Meaning, you don't say no, and I don't understand why you would ask. No. That's already too much. You just say no. This will stand on its own. And you cannot move forward with the conversation until you make sure this is cleared up. What? You're accusing, that's in the back of your mind, right? You're not saying it, but you're being subconsciously pressed to immediately say, no, I didn't. Later, you can elaborate. Later, after that sentence is over, you can say, well, why would you suspect me? Have you looked into our neighbors? Because that guy is really weird and he comes by when I'm at work or something like. You can come up, you can then speculate, because speculation is a good thing. Speculation is a part of the process.
I like that. Speculation is a good thing.
Is too much. I 100% did not, and that extra part alone, and I will hold that to my last day on this planet. Did you hold the children? Did you remove the children from the home? And you held them? And you hid them somewhere? And you did so in a respectful manner? And you will remember that until your very last day, not just on this earth, but at this planet, which gives us also a little bit of a religious undertone, a finality to it. Until the last day, my last day on this planet, I will remember these children. I remember holding them before I put them, I have hid them wherever I did.
Wow.
And the 100% part, remember previously the embedded confession I spoke about. He talked about his wife's family. They said I did it. I had something to do with it. Remember that? That part, in my opinion, is the embedded confession. And notice, he said, they said that I did it. He didn't say what it is, but he started a new.
An embedded confession. They said that I had something to do with it. Wow. So Daniel is going to claim his innocence until his last breath. Yeah. Sounds like it. That's what I took it as well. Who just left a message for you? Ginger. Hello, Hotch. Good to see you. Welcome in. So that's interesting that Mike thinks that that's an embedded confession when Daniel said her family thinks I had something to do with it. Very interesting. He also, he said Malaya has shut up, right? We've heard that she's lawyered up. I don't know if that's true or not, but did they, and he feels there was some guilty knowledge there as well. So were they in on it together? Did they, I mean, there is a reason that RCMP keeps going back to look for these children, right? They're going back out tomorrow, and they're going along the pipeline where a boot track was seen, right? You just have to, and what he said about speculation, it is a good thing, right? And you do, when you have, like I said, kids didn't just go poof, right? And we speculated in Sebastian's case as well, right? We had to look at everything. But statement analysis has been really good, I think, in these cases to help us to get somewhat to the truth, right? One thing I have noticed is that most statement analysis do not believe in behavior analysis, which I find kind of funny. I don't know why. Yes, the RCMP was asking for dash cam yesterday. They're asking for anything on Gerlach Road from April 28th, 12 p.m. noon through May 2nd, 12 p.m. noon. Oh, well, you put, did you maybe not mean to type that in there? Because you put, she just left a message on the answering machine. I like to actually speak to a person when I called. I didn't know what you were talking about there, Ginger. All right. Perrier says, listening to him makes me wonder, did mom take some type of sleep aid. Was there an accident and Daniel covered it up by morning? Mom doesn't know what happened and a fight breaks out. I mean, could very well be, right? I mean, these are all thoughts that could be relevant, you know. And unfortunately, you know, he's going to hold to that till his last day on the planet, so I don't think he's going to break down. Oh, I think searching tomorrow does make sense. They put those kids somewhere. Did they take them on the ATV along the pipeline? I mean, it's a thought. They're still not saying they believe in an abduction. Okay. So I think that they're looking to see if those children got home after they were seen on May 1st. That's my opinion. Or were they taken by car after that? You know, I think they're looking specifically. That's my thought. Although I'm sure that they're keeping an open mind about the abduction theory. I don't, you know, they're saying they don't believe it was abduction. But I mean, I'm sure that's off to the side. It's kind of like Pat said. She said, you know, you think mostly in this one direction, but you're not letting go of the little bit in this direction because sometimes it can change all to that direction, right? So, I mean, I'm sure they're not ruling it out completely. Oh, I see. The mom left a message on the answering machine at the school, according. That's a good point, K9. They are searching again right after his Polly. Yeah, they ruled out abduction really early. To me, well, I'm not going to say they ruled it out. Okay. I think that they always hold it to the back as a possibility, but they really don't believe that it is. Because any good law enforcement officer or detective is going to keep their mind open to all possibilities. But they'll go where the evidence is mainly pointing, right? But evidence can come and point later and turn something totally on its head too, right? So they have to be open to that. But yes, you know, they don't believe it was abduction right now. And they're focused on familial involvement. I agree 100%. And that's what it looks like, doesn't it? And that's why I wanted to kind of look at Daniel today. Why Daniel? Because Daniel's the one that's talking. And it is like Mike said, he's not doing himself any favors by talking so much. He really isn't. You know, I mean, I'm sure Mike and Mr. Yummy love it, but they both know that he's not doing himself any favors, right? So, you know, would we want him to stop talking? Honestly, no, because he's the only one giving out any information. But that's kind of selfish on the part of a creator who wants to figure out this case, right? Katie says, I don't know. To me, the fact that they were going to search again made me think they think the kids did wander off, but I have no idea. He is talking after the RCMP told them all not to, and that is odd as well. I mean, the fact that they said they did see a boot print there, and that's why. Do you think it's just what they want us to believe? Here's a speculation for you. Are they saying some of this stuff to not tip Daniel off that they're onto him? But that, like Canine said, it's odd that they're searching again right after the poly. Was there something said in his poly that made them think, you know, he said that he was looking, right? And he was running ahead of the helicopters and stuff. Why didn't he take his ATV out there? I'm just saying, couldn't he cover more ground with his ATV? Why didn't he take it out? You guys aren't alone on that. It's a possibility for sure. It definitely is. They could have, and they'll just find their bodies, right? You know, that would be right. I mean, that would be the best case scenario at this point, that they did just wander off and we find their bodies and there was no foul play. That would be the best possible scenario for everyone concerned, because at this point we don't think that they're alive anymore, sad as that might be, right? You know, and Neuro, that's what made me wonder. So if there was a boot print at that time, why didn't they search around it at that time? Why are they going back there now? See, that's why I think it has something to do with, like Canine said, that because of what he said in the poly, maybe they've been watching and someone has been going to that area, possibly. See, they're not going to tell us everything. We don't know everything they know. You think the quad is his brothers? Gotcha. It's funny, you guys call them quads. I call them ATVs. I owned one for a while. Used to go mudding all the time. I think they did search, didn't find anything, and are re-looking because kids are small and can hide in places adults can't as easily. Possibly, but you know, maybe they have been watching. Maybe somebody's been going there. Maybe it's something that Daniel said in his polygraph. There could be other reasons, guys, that we are not aware of. All I do know is that there's a reason they're going back to that specific area. when they haven't been searching for what? Since the 18th? So there's a reason. Call them four-wheelers. Gotcha. Yeah, I call them four-wheelers or ATVs. So, yeah, very interesting. I don't know if Daniel is doing himself any favors, right? Some of his sayings, I'll hold that till my very last day on this planet. That's just outright weird, guys. Who uses the word planet, number one? I will hold that. That's weird. With Summer, Ellie said she could fit in something the size of a laptop. I imagine if they're small, yeah. Yeah, some ATVs have 3 wheels. Yep. Oh, so I mean they could. I mean that would be the best case scenario if they wandered away and they're just hidden some little crevice, right? They didn't have coats with them as far as we know, right? So it's hard to know. You know, I would imagine it was rainy. I imagine they got cold. I mean, for the life of me, I don't understand why they would wander away, but I mean, I could see Lily getting upset and just screaming. Guys, they were out there within a few hours. Don't you think Lily would have gotten tired of the cold and the wet and the rain and would have just started screaming? She was a screamer. I don't know. What's most important is that those kids need to be brought home, right? They need to be brought home. That's what's more important than anything else. That's a good point. I would like to know why mom ended her relationship with you, Daniel. I want to know why you have no access to your children. Good point. Yeah, some are. Some are more independent and not afraid. I really get the feeling uh, the fact that the bus driver called Lily a drama queen, and I think of the screaming. It's like she wanted attention at Jack's birthday party. It was his second birthday party. Um, I don't know. Yes, I agree. We need to know what happened. Canine, I just yeah, I understand that she knew about the Valo kids, but I just have a hard time with that. So I really don't follow any kind of psychics or visions or anything like that. You know, if that is what you guys like, that's totally up to you. But I'm not comfortable with it myself. I agree. We can't have another summer in Sebastian. Guys, we have had too many missing children, disappearances, going poof, that, and Dylan, right? This poor community has had Dylan that they've had to deal with for the past 5 years. Enough, right? There's got to be some kind of resolution. So I still don't know timeline that morning. Did Daniel look for how long before 911 called? Well, they said Malaya called 911, and you know, I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows for sure the right timeline. Right? Because they have said, she said she immediately called the police, but they said they were up at 8:00. So she didn't immediately call the police. Right? So we don't really know a timeline. Yes. Why did Daniel jump in the car and drive the dirt roads if the children went into the woods? And he's the one that told him that the children walked into the woods. Allegedly, in your opinion, Canine. You know, and you know, I think part of us gets jaded, don't we? We have Dylan, we have Summer, we have Sebastian, right? And there's more. I mean, there's Michael Monkey Vaughn, right? And you know, outcomes, we're not getting outcomes that we want. And you know, in each circumstance, each situation, there are shady things said by parents in those circumstances, right? And or shady things done, right? I remember, like, and please don't get me wrong, because I'm not saying that Dylan's mom did anything. I'm not saying that at all. But I remember seeing a video of her, and whatever she was singing or saying at the time was not a good thing. And it made her look bad, right? But did that mean she did anything with her son? No, right? It didn't mean that at all. It was questionable. And so there are shady things in all of these cases. And it just gets difficult to think of the best case scenario, right? Because we've seen too many horrific things and it's hard. I think dispatch said the children were last heard by mom at 8 a.m. Right. But then mom, I just went and watched her interview this morning, actually. And she said, I immediately called 911. No, she didn't, because that call didn't come into 911 until what, 9:40? I agree, prayer warrior. Too many kids getting hurt by family members. And it's not just the ones we're talking about, guys. I see it all the time when I'm looking for stuff for my morning videos. It's awful. I know. I watched that this morning. She went off on the judge. She just needs to go back to prison and shut up. I'm serious, and I can say that about her because she's already convicted and found guilty of red rumming her 2 children, JJ and Tylee, conspiring to red rum Chad's wife, Tammy, conspiring to red rum her husband, Charles Vallow, and now she's on trial for conspiring to red rum her nephew, Brandon Boudreaux. I hope that's the last of them now. Hi, Cheryl. No worries. Glad you're here, hon. Yeah, he has been so patient with her, hasn't he, K9? He's been totally patient with her. And I mean, she tried to get him taken off the case. It didn't work. I am sure that any judge, looking at that would say he's been so patient, there's no way. She immediately called after looking around the home for the children while Daniel jumped in the car, allegedly. Well, did it take her an hour and 40 minutes to look around the home for the kids? I'm just saying. But she's going to be exonerated. You think so, prayer warrior? Or are you being facetious? Oh my gosh. Yes. Uh, you know, and that's the sad thing, isn't it, Melissa? I think she really believes what she spouts. I mean, she's off her rocker. You don't know who Lori Vallow is? Oh my goodness, Katie. I don't even know where to begin with that one. I have other videos if you want to go and learn about Lori Vallow. I guess, long story short, Katie, she was with the LDS community, but she got in with a group of people who kind of went off on their own tangent and started believing things that were not of the LDS community. And one of them was prophet, who self-proclaimed prophet Chad Daybell. And when she met Chad Chad told her that they were married in another life and that they were always meant to be together. So he was married with 5 children. Lori had 2 children. Well, 3 children. One was out of the home. Her and Chad conspired to take the lives of his wife, Lori's 2 children, Lori's husband, and they were both found guilty of all those things. They also Lori also conspired with her brother to take the life of her nephew, and because he was allegedly against her and whatever. And so she's on trial for that now, but he lived. He didn't die. So there you have it. But I do have videos about that. He says, "Are you done?" Who says that? What am I missing? Oh, yes, the lawyer. The lawyer or the judge. He says, "Are you done?" Yes, I did see that. The man who moved her car was found guilty on his charges. Conspiracy. Yeah. Yes. And if Daniel thought the kids were in the woods, why did he jump in his vehicle? Yep, she's representing herself again. She tried to have the judge taken off the case. Yeah, she really does believe what yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Lori is one of the 144,000 that's going to oh, lead the new world, right? I agree. I think what's that stuff that you put into their system where they can have a heart attack and it's undetected? That's what I think happened. She's a chosen one. Yeah. Well, you um yeah, let me see if I can. She was once a beauty queen. Um she yeah, she's something else. So I'll show you her pic here. As it uploads. That's her. That's Lori. Yeah, the children's bedroom was really horrific. Her little boy was autistic. He was adopted by her and her husband. He was 7, I believe. His 13th birthday was just yesterday or the day before, I think. They smothered him. Her 17-year-old daughter, they cannot figure out how she passed away, but they dismembered her and burned her in Chad's fire pit. So the case is pretty icky, Katie. Potassium. I knew it was something. Oh, a toxin and octopus bought in Hawaii. That wouldn't surprise me either because they were in Hawaii, weren't they, Melissa? That's interesting. Oh yeah, she did have a date, didn't she, for leading the 144,000 into the kingdom. It is long past, and she still believes that stuff. Yeah. Um yeah. And when you hear her, Katie, go into her rants about religion, how she's going to lead the 144,000. The police even said you have until such and such a time to produce your children or you're going to jail. And she didn't produce, she wouldn't produce. Instead, she got married on the beach with this idiot. And yeah, her kids were moldering in his backyard in the ground while she's dancing on the beach in Hawaii with her husband. Yep, hubby got the death penalty, but I don't. The only reason she didn't get the death penalty is because I think they think she's mentally ill. Okay, nine, don't talk about the storm. Oh, they were married on your birthday. I'm sorry. That's not good. Oh, man. You can tell she's in prison and not getting her Botox. Looking at this picture, she's got all of her wrinkles going on there. I know we laugh, Katie, but here's the thing. She is mentally ill. She really believes it. She believes it. And that's really sad. But the thing is, her oldest son, who I said was out of the house, thank gosh he lived through it. But can you imagine what he goes through? His mother never even told him what she did with the kids. She still will not tell him. She still will not tell him who actually red-rummed his sister and brother. When were they married? I don't know. So, Prayer Warrior, when were they married? 6 years ago, I think. Right? Been 6 years. Because they're still married, but they're both in separate prisons. And he's on death row. And she's currently in Arizona for the trial for her nephew. November 5th. Yeah. Yeah, he has a couple of kids now. Yeah, I listen to him too. Her brother and uncle have a channel as well, and that's really good. 2019, 6 years. 7 years. Yeah. 6 years. Yeah. I had it right the first time. Yeah, his name is Colby Ryan, and that's what his channel is under. And I encourage you guys, go and listen to him. He's, if you can handle it. Because sometimes my heart just breaks for him because, like he said, she's not the mom that he once knew. And he does believe that she believes what she's saying. And if you think about it, guys, how could she ever come back to reality? Because then she'd have to face what she did to her kids and her husband and her husband's wife, her new husband's wife. I mean, having to face what you did just to your children alone would be heart-wrenching. So I don't think she could ever come to, I don't think her mind will ever let her come to a reality of what she did. All right, K9. I am going to go ahead and get to my grannyism, which may not be popular, but you are guilty until proven innocent. Perception is reality. That is the way it is in this world. Guys, I know that our law says, in America anyway, that we're innocent until proven guilty. But if you think about common perception, it's true. The people are guilty until they're proven innocent. Perception is reality, and that is the way it is in this world. Oh, Neural, she's making barbecued ribs, corn on the cob, and scalloped potatoes. Doesn't that sound yummy? I want some. So, yeah, I saw this and I thought, oh, it goes against everything that we talk about, because we say that everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, but perception, people's perception out there is that you're guilty until you're proven innocent. It's true. So, yes, enjoy your dinner, K9. Think about us when you're eating. So that's all I had for today, guys. Thank you for being here. Please, if you haven't already, hit the like button. That really does help us to grow. And don't forget to keep Sebastian and Summer and Dylan and Michael and Lilly and Jack in your prayers. These kids, we need to do better by our kids, don't we? All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.